Well, he attack me. But Jaden Chase, they have to make the fans them know what really are going on.
Blessings Nation, and now welcome to the channel. Yeah, man, I'm Jaden Chase, and I want to bring on another reasoning on the topic of current affairs. So if you're new to the channel, well, I'm suggesting that you click the subscribe icon, and of course, let your voice be heard. Like and share the video, and yes, drop a comment in the comment section. Now, let's get right into the reasoning. Now, Nation, this has become a controversial topic of discussion, with the JCF saying that youth involved in the sweepstakes and flip cash game have now found themselves at the center of the crime and violence taking place on the Jamaican island. But some would state that in a country where economic prosperity is seemingly unobtainable by the average citizen, this lane has now fastly become the only alternative option to create wealth for a certain generation. While this might just be a misguided mindset, TVJ has exposed an exclusive interview conducted with a youth involved in the game who said during the pandemic, he was basically forced to enter this lifestyle. Maybe we couldn't hear what going on, we continue the reasoning. Look and listen.
Up first this evening, as the authorities try to curb violence in schools, they have another problem on their hands. Several students are now ditching formal education for lottery scamming. Anthony Lugg spoke with one such student and now reports.
We've gotten permission to speak with a student who's not been at school since the pandemic. He's decided that he does not want us in his presence, so we're going to call him on the phone.
To mask his identity, we'll call him Mark Brown. At 16 years old, Mark is the breadwinner for his family.
Just make money and share, no man. Just make money and share and lie, you know.
The Westmoreland teen who attended high school up to November 2021 told me he started scamming people after finding out he was not recommended to sit CSEC exams. He missed numerous classes due to connectivity issues when the pandemic hit, and since then, life was not the same. Instead of seeking a traditional job or seek placement at another institution, he turned to lottery scamming.
In place of 1 month in my journal, gone for the millions of them already, you know. And me just a printer. Me just a, that will say me is a learner right now. That's when I like for me a be bang them.
Of note is that his mother is aware and also benefits from the proceeds of the scam. Mark represents a growing number of school-aged children who've taken an interest in illegal activities since the COVID-19 pandemic. This was Police Commissioner Major General Anthony Anderson at a media briefing recently.
Perhaps because of the time they had available to them, got involved in things they shouldn't have. Lottery scamming being one.
Under Section 3 of the Fraudulent Transactions Act, anyone found guilty of such an offense may be fined or imprisoned for up to 20 years. Despite the harsh penalty, some school-aged children aren't fazed. Do you agree that what you're doing is wrong?
1 million times I agree to that wrong. Trust me, I know it's wrong, general. But sometimes I just can't do better. You understand me? I say that?
To get a better understanding as to how and why students take this route, we sought the expertise of Christopher Charles, Professor of Political and Social Science at the University of the West Indies.
These youngsters in lottery scams that are supported by their parents, they're actually in a criminal family. They were socialized into criminality. And I wouldn't be surprised if someone in the family, either both parents or one, or an uncle or a cousin, or a family friend who is close, is into criminal activity.
But here's what the teen told me when pressed about his wrongdoings.
We don't want that to be anything else all our life. I remember saying, no man, every day we feel, you know, people ball, you know.
Yeah.
And we don't want that fear happen to over few family and few generations.
The family continues to make demands for money, right? Although it's coming from illegal activity. So when that happens, the youngster might very well become a lifelong scammer.
For years, there have been discussions about what's being done and what needs to be done to steer students away from a life of crime. Mr. Charles says emphasis must be placed on addressing the social ills within the society.
Those youngsters, if they were socialized properly, with proper parental support and guidance, they would not be into scamming. Because other children are going through the same stressors, the same challenges and difficulties from the pandemic. and they are working, but they have decided not to go into scamming. So it is a choice.
Anthony Lug, TVJ News.
Yes, nation, and now let's continue the reasoning. And with the lifestyle being popularized in popular music, the influence has become that much stronger on the mind of the youth. But for many involved in the game, though, prosperity seems to be short-lived, as it has now become the norm to see young individuals who seem to have amassed a vast amount of wealth either being arrested or their lives taken. And the US has stepped up its extradition request. And local law enforcement on the island have stated that they will cooperate with all of these requests, seeing that these crimes and the people who they were committed against reside overseas. Local law enforcement has said them have the evidence and they want to make the case, then send the flight and then we capture them and put them on it. And as stated, JSAFE now has a new statistic report saying that for many districts in the Area 1 division, which comprise of majority of our major tourism hubs, they're saying that the conflict taking place in these communities and the crime and violence taking place in these communities. Now, nation, is also key to keep in mind that when we're going to say to the people involved in these type of activities, for cease and desist, better options must be presented. And for years now, there's been an issue of job creation and the lack thereof. Meaning, for individuals who leave high school, who leave tertiary institution, we are talking about the very few who can actually take their education to that level. There are little to no jobs on the island of origin for these students. And this is something that is widely known. And the legislation being passed in Parliament is not geared towards job creation. As a matter of fact, even for returning residents, doing business on the island just seems extremely expensive. And the high duty the people have to pay to import things through customs only for hearsay by the Prime Minister himself that there are individuals that customs we are bringing illegal contraband, while individuals who are doing legitimate business who are bringing either items for resale or equipment for do them business have to pay double in a duty, and individuals are bringing items we are help for mash up the Jamaican island. It's a sad situation. These are the issues where elected officials need to address. There will be no company jobs for our students if there are no companies created. People like to think about first world countries. Well, majority of the companies were created by individuals, by the inventors or entrepreneurs. But I'm going to say this though. They were supported in some way, shape or form by their government. To see the only way the Jamaican island can move forward is if both the people and the government, both entities have a role to play. The necessary infrastructure needs to be put in place. They need to make it easier for Jamaicans to do business in Jamaica and create the connections with other Caribbean countries and other international countries so we can start export again. Because Canada create a big industry of a produce. And this is a country that experiences winter. With the amount of land available in Caribbean islands and the fact that they experience a drop in temperature during the end of the year, but are nowhere near what we in Canada know as winter. Surprising, we now have a thriving agriculture sector. Now ask the farmer them. What farmers complain about? No support from the state. Even when you farm the produce, options are limited for sale of said produce. It's hard for you to tell the youth them not to get involved with the game, as no better options are being presented to them. This is a different generation. They look upon life different. I also say this though. For majority of the communities I will say, and the residents get involved in the game, we need to know why the whole heap of crime and violence that take place though. Because we can't go around that. You see it for yourself. All of the communities them way you see how they get popularized on the media, or, you know, 2 songs, or say house a bill up. You know what I mean? Exotic cars being imported. Soon after that, we see crime and violence that take place in these communities. So that's something they have to stop. Talk to me. Tell me how you feel about the interview. That's what the youth say. During the situation and where they're going with the schools, and you know what I mean? The situation at hand overall on the island. It's easy for youths get lured into this type of lifestyle. It was easy before to get them in, to lure individuals in impoverished communities into crime and violence. That has not changed. Because impoverished communities have not gone away. Talk to me in the comment section. You know the sentiments. For those who don't, first and foremost, click the subscribe icon, then the bell icon, and of course put it on all. And this is how you know we'll be notified of all fresh content as soon as fresh content is uploaded and made available for you right here on the platform. The like icon is also in close proximity to the share icon. Drop a like and bust a share. Tell a friend, tell them sister and them brother them for check out the channel, check out the reasoning, join the discussion. Comment section open 24/7. Never lock it. Just be respectful and mindful of the guidelines. Now until the reason again. My sentiments for you and yours is of course for to live, love and prosper and for to stay tuned.